so I'm back, and today we're going to take a look at the Titans Return Chrome Dome figure. So here he is in his vehicle mode. Rolls fine. Looks great. I mean, looks like Chrome Dome. You got the Target Master gun seat. You can plug this into the side if you wanted to. And then he's got this little rifle here. You can also plug that into the side. Or the other side, whichever. And yeah, looks great. Rolls great. Yeah, not much else to go over here. Transformation. Now, for the transformation, you're going to see a lot of similarities between him and Dead End from Combiner Wars. Obviously, they are different figures, and I believe different molds, but we'll look at that in more depth at the end of this video. I'm going to pull out all the headmasters, and we're going to look at them in comparison to each other, see if maybe there's remolds going on between the 8 figures we've gotten so far, and then also see if they resemble anything from Combiner Wars. So you can fold this up, and here's the seat. This is one of the reasons why I think it's not a retool of the Deadhead mold, because we've got a whole different assembly going on here. So here's his little headmaster. Heads on a ball joint. I mean, there's no paint on this thing at all. Shoulders are on ball joints. Hips swivel, knees swivel, and you can fold it up. And there he is in his head mode, and that looks amazing. That is a great Chrome Dome head. Much more IDW look, but still. Alright. So you fold this back, untab these, and they will tab in here. This tab here will plug into this slot here. Alright. Pull the arms out. And you fold them up. You want to untab this section here, and this will fold down. Very much like Dead End. Oh. Just make sure that leg stays together there. Fold out the foot, rotate this around, flip out the hands. Again, very similar to Dead End here. Flip the torso piece down, that'll tab into place, and then this will, like Dead End, this will untab, come back, but in this case, it actually slides it up in like this. It doesn't just sit on the back, but it slides in, making it so that you could still have that full waist swivel too. And take your little headmaster, plug them in, and there you go. So head is on the ball joint, left, right, a little up, a little down. Shoulders are on ball joints. There's also a swivel here if you need it. Bicep swivel. Bends at the elbow. Gets a little caught up like Dead End does. Hands swivel in and out. They're on ratchets. Waist swivel. Hips are on ball joints. Thigh swivel. As you can see, mine kept popping out, but I mean, they pop right back in. There's a knee bend, and the foot has a hinge to it. No rocker, but it is sculpted for an A stance. He could hold this gun if you want him to. It looks stupid. So we'll just have him hold this gun. There you go. Yeah, I think he looks great. Scale-wise, here he is with a Seeker. Now, that's one of those, like, does that really truly work? but that's more of an issue with the Seeker, not Chrome Dome. Sorry, I just killed a spider that was crawling on me. Kind of freaked me out there for a second. I was like, what is in me? Crawling up my pant leg. I know. Weird problems. Here he is with the Legends car. I think that looks good. And here he is with Prime. And that looks good as well. Yeah, I think he looks great. Let's see here. Before we move on. Here he is with the Fans Project version. Which now, after all these years, he kind of has like a little bit of a pot belly going, I think. He doesn't look as sleek and slender as him. I mean, it just... I don't know, guys. Are the Fans Project ones just dated that quickly? Is that what happens with Fans Project? They just... the figures get dated very fast? I don't know. I have to give it to him, hands down. I think he's a much better looking bot than he is. I don't like him. Yeah, I always thought this guy was cool, but highly overrated because everybody was raving about him when he first came out. And I was like, he's okay. And now in comparison to a $15 to $20 deluxe figure sitting right next to him, I've got to give it to the $15, $20 deluxe because it's just, he looks better on so many levels. I'm sorry. I'm selling these guys, but I kind of wish I could keep the guns. No, even those aren't right. But yeah, that'd be much better right there. All right, so let's take a look at these four together. Well, first off, let's get dead in here. Let's take a look at these guys. So, engineering-wise, these guys are very similar. They're designed to be very similar, but obviously, for me, it's obvious. But we're gonna go through it. These guys are not retools of each other. They're not, redesigns. He just happens to share the engineering of him. Now what that means is that, it's like they like the transformation and they like the way the overall end result happened with him, so they just used that as a base for him. And I am perfectly fine with that. I have zero issues with them taking a figure that was the best in the line and redesigning or taking the cues from the engineering and putting it here. Now, obviously the torsos are different because he's got the gap for the headmaster and he's also got the a bigger plate here that plugs in. And his torso has the smaller plate, but as you can see, he's got the combiner port. Heads are obviously different, so the whole torsos and heads are different. Waist swivel or waist joint is different. Even on the back, those are different. Shoulders, different design, similar look. The whole arm, different design, similar look, but they are different. Completely different. Now, little bits. These are the parts that even if they retool a whole figure that they would keep the same, are these shoulder bits, like right here, coming from the body to the ball joint. But they are different. Thighs, completely different, but similar look. Again, his is a little bit more slender, his is more thick. He's got this little knee pad here. He's got this spikier one there. Tires, different. You know, if anything, they would share tires, right? And he's got no feet. He's got feet. They're completely different molds. So yeah, just completely 100% different molds. Now we're gonna get all the deluxe headmasters out here, and we're gonna look at them real briefly. I mean, because we got a minute here. You know, we're not in a rush, are we? So here's wave 2, and I've got to say this wave is amazing. I love this wave. Oh, let's give Chrome Dome a rating here real quick, and it's easy for me. 10 out of 10. I think he's a great deluxe figure. For the price point, I think he's very well worth it. Very well worth it. See if I can find the rest of them. Here's Blur. Scourge. Hardhead. And Mr. Floppy himself, Skull Cruncher. So, let's see here. I don't know, guys. If they're retooling these guys into each other, they're doing it in a way where it's incredibly difficult to tell. Like, actually, now I'm looking at it. I think this is our retool. Yeah. I think this is our retool right here. I mean, and it's hard to see it. But if you look at the legs, of the thighs here, thighs are the same, and they both have that sliding out gimmick. The rest of it, though, is all different. Torso's been reshelled. Shoulders, the actual joint is the same. Arms are redone. Hands are the same. Okay. And that is it. This is our retool. I would not have guessed that looking at it from afar. I would never have guessed that one. People are saying Mind Wipe and Scourge, but no, I don't see it in the Mind Wipe and Scourge at all. But these two right here, this is our retool. This is our first retool. And kudos fucking Hasbro, because that right there is an amazing... Oh, and by the way, a lot of people give me gripes on this one. This slides up a little bit. And the Blur has one too. I missed that in the original videos and people were talking about it. So, alright. So there's our first retool. And yeah, this is a good retool. Very extensive. So let's see here. Is there more retooling going on? Who else is a similar figure? No way. Again, the thighs are the giveaway. So these guys share the same thighs. The hands are different. Arms are different. Shoulders are different. The only thing these two share are the thighs. They look identical. Wow. That's it. That's all we got there. Just the thighs. They share the thigh engineering. I'm kind of in shock here. I would have guessed these guys were retools either. Looking at the brainstorm, you tell he's a retool for Blur, but yeah, these two, all they have in common are the thighs, from what I could see. Transformation on them is so different. Wow. All right, what else we got here? Let's see. I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's the end of it, though. Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. I never would have thought Chrome Dome and Blur were retools of each other. Or at least they share the hips. And I never would have guessed Highbrow and Scourge were retools of each other. But yeah, there you go. Those are your retools. And it's taken it a whole new level from what Combiner Wars was doing, where it was just like everything was just a repaint with a new head or whatever, or slight reshell. These things are... Whoever's designing them, you can definitely tell that they care. And they're doing their best to make these things work great. And yeah, I'm pretty satisfied with them. So I highly recommend the whole wave. You've got Mind Wipe, where you have to flip the legs around, not a problem. And Skull Cruncher, who I'm eventually going to have to tighten the joints on those legs, because those things are pretty loose. But yeah, so far I'm loving this line. I'm absolutely loving this line. I can't wait to see what happens next. I've got to find me a brainstorm at some point. Some online retailers were selling them for like $35 or something like that, so I might end up just going with that or something. But yeah, all in all, this line has turned out really well. I really like it. I think these guys are really cool. Highly recommend of this wave. I'll recommend the whole wave, but with emphasis on the Chrome Dome and the Mind Wipe, or not Mind Wipe, Weird Wolf. Those guys are absolutely amazing. But yeah, I guess that's it. Yeah. Hope you enjoyed it. Now I'm going to send these guys all off to Deluxe, and he'll do the review and then send them back to me, and I can put them back on my shelf.